California officials there set to give the latest update on that horrific warehouse fire. The death toll now stands at 36 people, and as memorials build outside of the gutted ruins, a criminal investigation is moving forward. Meantime, the man who held the lease on that property is lashing out at claims that he allowed the residence or the warehouse to become an illegal residence and a fire trap. Here's the end of his emotional interview this morning on NBC.
I would rather get on the floor and be trampled by the parents. I'd rather let them tear at my flesh than answer these ridiculous questions.
Mr. Allen,
I'm so sorry. I'm incredibly sorry. What do you want me to say? I'm not going to answer these questions.
Then we will call this.
I'm just going to say that I am sorry.
Then we'll end the interview there, Mr. Allen.
You have to hold my soul accountable. If you have to hold my soul accountable for believing in something.
Our Stephanie Elam is there with the latest. And Steph, you've been there obviously throughout the weekend reporting on this tragedy as the number of dead has grown and grown and grown. How far have they made it through the building at this point in time to try to recover everyone?
Right, tragic story as the story's been unfolding here, Poppy. We know that 36 people have been found. They've now made their way through 70% of the building. They say they don't expect the huge number more of deceased to be found, but they're not ruling out that they may still find some more people there. And then we also know that of the 36 people that have died, 32 of them have been positively or tentatively identified. So they are working to notify the families in that regard as well, Poppy.
And Stephanie, what do we expect that they might tell us at this press conference?
What they've been doing is they've been updating us on these efforts to update the family. Also, if they found more remains overnight, the progress that they're making overnight, what they've encountered, if there's been any issues. They brought in a crane they needed to getting access to the space, and so they may update us further about any other difficulties or unsafety or safety concerns that may be inside there as well. So that's what we're waiting to hear.
Okay, and they are beginning. Let's listen in.
Watson. I'm one of the public information officers for the Oakland Police Department. We would like to provide you with an operational update. At this time, I would like to turn it over to Alameda County Sheriff Deputy Modeste.
Hi, good morning. Ty Modeste, TYA-MODESTE, one of the public information officers for Alameda County. There has been no change overnight in the total number of victims located and recovered. The numbers have shifted within the 36. At this time, we have 26 families that have been notified. We have 9 tentative IDs, and we still have 1 doe remaining that needs to be notified.
Please allow me to introduce Oakland Fire Department Battalion Chief Lip. He will update you on operations that took place last night and early this morning.
Good morning. So as you recall, yesterday we were forced to suspend recovery operations interior due to the instability of the structure. Working throughout the day yesterday and last night, we were able to remove the parapet wall that was presenting the greatest danger, and then we were also able to put in some shoring to stabilize some of the flooring areas. This morning at 2:20, we went back in and resumed recovery operations. At this time, we've been able to search through the building and clear approximately 85% of the building right now. We'll be continuing that throughout the day. There's one corner that remains unstable, and then that's another thing that we're going to be doing throughout the day today is stabilizing that corner so that we can search that last section.
I'd like to update our citizens in our community regarding the PG&E planned power outage. Currently, the power is still off in this specific area. They are anticipating that the power will be returned by maybe 8 a.m., but right now safety is paramount, so the power will remain off while the crane and heavy equipment is here still processing the scene. I would also like to call in my partner, Public Information Officer Marco Marquez. We'd like to provide some information to our community. We have a lot of very goodwill citizens, community members, people outside of the city of Oakland, outside of the state, even outside of the country, who want to donate, and deservingly so donate. We are logistically, it is challenging for us to take donations here, so we have a system set up, and we have information we would like to share for anyone who would like to donate. So please allow him to provide that information.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Marco Marquez. That's M-A-R-C-O, M-A-R-Q-U-E-Z, one of the Oakland Police Department Public Information Officers. And the information I have to share with you is there is a web page set up on youcaring.com. That's youcaring.com. And if you go in the search bar there and search up Oakland Fire or victims of the Oakland Fire, you will see a link that is connected there that is set up by the city as well as the Red Cross. Now, here at the site, we are experiencing an overwhelming amount of support. People coming in bringing food and asking how can they donate financially. And it is overwhelming here, and so it is set up online to where you can make those donations, whether you're here or if you're across the nation or even international. As we all know, the magnitude of the impact here on the families as well as our community. And one way we're asking those who want to give back is to give back through this website. It goes a long way. The funds will be appropriately distributed, and if you visit that site, you can see how. But this is just an ask to the community. If you do feel, we know you're praying, we know that your thoughts are with us, but if you feel like giving financially, please visit the website again. That is youcaring, youcaring.com, and search up victims of the Oakland Fire. Thank you.
Thank you, Officer Marquez. At this time, we're going to open up for questions. I'm going to go ahead and start on the right, and we'll work our way around. Go ahead, sir.
You mentioned there's still about 15% of the building to search. Can you talk about what the challenges are? Are there some specific challenges about that 15% remaining to search that are kind of holding that part up?
Sure. It's primarily that BC corner. So as you face the building, that left corner of the building, we're not able to totally secure that yet. We're going to be putting in some bracing, exterior bracing today, and then that will finalize that corner. And then there's a very small section that's in the back that still needs to be processed with ATF and our crews.
Do you guys have some tarps up in case it rains? Will the rain affect anything? The rains tomorrow?
I haven't really approached that with rain and tarps as of yet. The rain shouldn't adversely impact what we're doing.
Go ahead, Will.
Do you anticipate the number of people to go up to be relatively steady? Thankfully, 36 people anticipate.
Based on the areas that remain unsearched, I don't anticipate it going up. There's one section that's still in an area that has some potential, but otherwise, no.
On the website you mentioned, Officer Marquez, there are several polling ones. Obviously, there's one that's organized by gray area foundation, the arts, the mayor's office. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct. There also is an Oakland A's one that is set up as well that's right next to it that you'll see. Okay. And so those two are set up for this specific incident.
Thank you.
Yeah, so the issue with that corner is it's unsupported laterally as you move across. So that load then gets shifted along that left wall, what we're calling the Bravo wall. If we remove the parapet there, then that can cause that wall to become unstable. So what we need to do is put bracing in so that we can support that entire corner. If we remove the parapet wall, that raises the possibility that the B-side wall could become unstable, and we don't want to do that.
All right, an update from officials there in Oakland. Some of the main headlines here: no update on the number of casualties at this point in time. Still 36 people who have perished in this tragic fire, but they are not completely through the building. They said there's still a corner area of this warehouse that they need to search. About 70% has been searched, but still they do fear they could come across even more victims. Let's go back to Stephanie Elam, who's live in Oakland for us. Stephanie, what else stood out to you?
I think what's interesting here is that every time we have heard from a press conference, they have said that the number of people who've lost their lives has gone up. They're saying now that they did not find any more bodies overnight, and now that they've made their way 85% of the way through, they're feeling that they are getting to the end of the recovery efforts, but still taking their time methodically to go through that. Also, last we heard there were 3 people that they were not able to identify. They're now saying that they have 1 person that they're not able to identify. So making some progress there as well. This one corner that is unstable is part of what has been slowing them down for the last couple of days on making their way through the building. And so that's what we heard a lot about. There's this one corner that they don't want to make their way into because it could fall or could collapse. So that's why they're taking their time. But really learning more now about the fact that 26 of these people they've been able to identify, 9 as well. So between those numbers together, you've got positively identifying and tentatively identifying. They're making their way through the 36 and letting family members know that their lost loved ones, that they've been able to identify them.
Absolutely heartbreaking. Stephanie, thank you so much. Live for us in Oakland. Meantime, also in California, Los Angeles this morning on high alert after a terror threat on the subway system there. The FBI confirming it did receive an overseas tip about a possible bombing at the Universal City stop that is right near Universal Studios. Officials calling the threat, quote, specific and imminent. Law enforcement ramping up security as they search for possible explosives. The mayor of Los Angeles, in the meantime, says he will ride that line, the red line, today in an effort to show that it is safe. We will continue, of course, to follow this story out of Los Angeles this morning as we learn more. Meantime, President-elect Donald Trump back on the road this week. Today, he travels to North Carolina for the second leg of his thank you tour. But first, it is all about business. A busy day of meetings as Trump weighs potential cabinet picks. Exxon CEO Rex Tillerson, former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, and conservative radio host Laura Ingraham all on today's schedule to meet with the president-elect. All of this as his pick for National Security Advisor. Retired General Michael Flynn continues to face a lot of heat. Let's bring in Jessica Snyder. She is live for us this morning outside of Trump Tower. Good morning. What does the elevator watch tell us?
Yeah, good morning, Poppy. You know, it's another adrenaline-fueled day for the president-elect, just the way that Donald Trump likes it. We're expecting a number of meetings throughout the day, but then, of course, it's on to the second stop in his thank you tour, this time in Fayetteville, North Carolina. That happening at 7 o'clock tonight. But before he hops on that plane to head down south, he will be meeting with an array of people who are actually drawing a lot of intrigue. You mentioned Exxon CEO Rex Tillerson. Well, it turns out that sources are telling us that he's being potentially considered on what's that growing list of Secretary of State names. Of course, sources say that it is a long shot, but that Donald Trump is very intrigued by Tillerson's worldview. Other notable names that will be here at Trump Tower today, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, as well as former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, who just arrived back in the United States from China, where he met with President Xi. Also, conservative radio host Laura Ingraham. She has been floated out there for the possibility of press secretary. She talked about it this morning.
We've been friends for a long time, and I'm looking forward to having the conversation. There's no agenda. There really is no agenda. I think, obviously, my name has been bandied about for press secretary. A lot of considerations, but I talked to someone over the weekend who you all would know, and I said, well, if this opportunity presented itself, and he said, sometimes it's really good to change up your life a little bit. Give it a little jolt. Give it a couple paddles on the side, and change things up a little bit. And sometimes if your country calls you, and if God opens that door, you have to really seriously consider it.
So it is down to business here at Trump Tower with all of those meetings. But, Donald Trump did get out on the town tonight, making another stop to his favored 21 Club in Midtown Manhattan. It's a New York institution, a former speakeasy. Of course, that's also where Donald Trump was a few weeks ago when he ditched the press pool and went there. But you can see some of the pictures when Donald Trump walked into the restaurant. Some of the people there cheering for him. He did dine at the restaurant with his wife, Melania, as well as his 3 eldest children, Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric Trump. So a little bit of fun before getting back down to business today. And then, of course, later tonight, hitting the road for one of those rallies that his top advisor, Kellyanne Conway, called the oxygen for the president-elect. Poppy?
There you go. We saw him during the campaign, and they continue in this period. And